my deliverable was
Precap.
to finalize the requirements, and I couldn't do it. But it did not, stop me from getting a PPO because they knew what was happening. I have seen people who like converted IIM Calcutta, but then rejected it and came to IIM Bangalore PGPBA. Like in any MBA college, companies usually come in clusters, like first cluster, second cluster, and all. If you have an offer in cluster 1, you're not eligible to sit in other companies in the same cluster. You can try for cluster 2 and cluster 3.
Ujwala Garuki, what do you call, how do I tell this in Telugu? Ujwala Garuki, Vanakam, not Vanakam, it's something else, let me try. Ujwala Garuki, Swagatam, Sumanjali.
Yeah, Swagatam. Oh, you're quite good at it.
So I got to know that you happen to be a South Indian by your academic records, that you happen to have pursued your schooling from Hyderabad, if I'm not wrong, or some other city.
My schooling was from my hometown. It is Khammam. It's near Hyderabad. And my engineering is in Hyderabad.
After Pushpa, all the South Indian districts are going very popular right now. Khammam, etc. We're getting to have an idea.
Yeah.
So after, you were saying something.
Yeah, thankful to Tollywood.
So building up on that as well, when you pursue your education, there's something very not peculiar, but something very super standardtive when I look at your CV. Your grades throughout your academic career have been very, very, stable. So how did you go about your academic journey? Was it in your mind that, I'm going to pursue my career aspirations, I have to have a stable path?
Not really. So my, I did not have everything figured out, honestly. But during my schooling, my mom was a teacher. So I was ahead of all other children. Like I did not, actually study nursery because I already knew alphabet and all. So I was always a step ahead because of my mom. And after, once you start getting used to it, it will become a thing. You don't have to put a lot of pressure, or I can say I was kind of blessed with that. But it was not, I have to do it, I have to be in the top and all. But it was rather, I used to like it. I used to like learning. So it just happened. There was nothing like a technique or something I followed to be on the top every time. And I was honestly not the topper every time. I managed to be in top three all my schooling, intermediate, and even UG. So I've just, maintained this thing consistent, and along with all the extracurriculars I was doing. I've never, too much concentrated or too much into anything distracting my studies. So that's
Academics has always been your forte. That's what you're trying to say. And
honestly, I did not know what to do, like what else to do. My family was not really into other things. Like I like dancing and singing, but I've never, never learned them professionally because my mom used to, made me focus more on studies. Like she used to always tell me, "Ki, this is your first priority and they are your secondary. So see them as your hobbies only, not as your profession." And I kind of regret it, Abhi, because I really love them. So now I pursue them. So I would say it's a fair trade-off.
it's a fair trade-off. And a couple of takeaways. This thing, you can only overcome inertia once you have a lot of momentum with whatever you're doing. That is
Yes,
one takeaway. And second, parents have an incredible amount of influence on whatever you do.
obviously.
The fact that you mentioned that you were daughter of a teacher that went on to set your path, that's amazing. And also this fact that most of the people, who are trying to get into IIMs have this concept of having a gap year. On the contrary, I see that you have an added advantage here, that you skipped nursery and go into UKG directly. That's cool.
So many kids do that actually.
Is it a prevalent practice in the South? Like most of the kids do it in the South.
Not in the South in general. Like I've seen people. So your parents teach you things, right, in school, like before school, that you have to be like this, you have to be like that. So
Not everybody's parents are teachers, Ujwala.
my mom was not, a proper teacher also. She used to teach primary kids and then she stopped after a while. So it's not really the profession of your parents also. It's just you liking it, that's it.
It's just things confluencing together and making way for it all. And so building upon that, after you finished your BTech, so how were you sort of sure that I'm going to be a part of the MBA verse? I'm going to give my CAT examination, not pursue a job from engineering.
Yeah. So during my like before taking UG also, I always used to research like what am I gonna do? Starting from my engineering only when I was preparing for my JEE and all. I used to think what should I do? What should I take next? Then the most happening thing, which will be like in next 4 to 5 years, EV will be the most happening thing. So I knew, like, I got to know that, right? Thankfully, I had people who used to tell me, ki, this is what happening. I think you might like this sort of suggestions. So I used to, go back and explore, ki, okay, is this really for me? I used to do this often, and just like that, I got to know about the EV industry, and I knew this is gonna be a big thing. Like by the time I graduate, so I knew I wanted to get into core sector like electrical or electronics. So I made sure I get these branches in the top UG colleges in my state. So my college was the top two of my state. So
In
I
Andhra.
got, huh. And it was all going well. I really liked the subject and I knew I'm getting there. So I'm liking it and I know I'm good at it. And then COVID happened and it changed a lot of things for me. So COVID pay, I had a lot of free time and I was at home. And this was the time I was having conversations with my dad, my mom, and these are not your regular conversations. Ki, you have to do this beta and you can do this. These are the things they were asking me, like, what do you really want to do? Like, do you know what we do? My father was a businessman. I did not know much about like the intricacies of business back then. It was during COVID, we used to have conversations like my dad used to tell me, so this is what happens. I get this and I have to sell this. To sell, I have to do this. The technicalities that really, interested me. Okay, you make someone buy your product and you do it very skillfully, and that is really something I wanted. And you can see your results, like you see somebody buying your product in front of you and it's happening here. And and I think I liked it, and I liked to be, I am like I have a brother, and he's I know my father had more hopes on me for business or to run.
That happens when the other kid is is a son and the other kid is a daughter. That always happens.
So I thought I should give this a shot. And this is the time when all my friends were also thinking about alternate career options, because this is, third year of our undergrad, and people usually plan their higher studies or abroad opportunities like that. So I got to know from a friend, I'm very thankful to her, that there is something called IIMS and MBA. Until that point, I didn't even know that something called IIMS exists and you have better opportunities there. And once I started knowing about them, I did a lot of research and I got to know that my college itself has a, like, who has a mentor. He takes in people every year, like 20 to 25 people, and he trains them, like, he gives coaching sort of thing. And that's how I, like, before even joining the coaching, I thought, I have to be sure that I'm liking this, because I've invested my life, 3 years of my life into something, and now I'm changing it suddenly. I did not want to, make a haste decision. That's why I used to do a couple of internships during COVID when I had free time. I did social media managing. I did in HR internship, marketing internship. These are all very small internships and are unpaid. So I really made this choice because if it's unpaid, I don't have an incentive until and unless I'm really liking it. So I will not suggest this as a way, but this worked for me. This way I knew, okay, even if there is no paid like incentive, I was able to, stick to it.
Incentive is learning.
Yeah, I was interested in learning this. So yeah, then I gave a shot. Like I went to the mentor. His name is Sharat sir. I'm really thankful to him. And I've started my preparation. It all went well. I was doing good, and there were always, like, in anything, I had lots of ups and downs. And then placements happened in my UG. I got placed in a very good organization. And then I started, having second thoughts. Maybe I should work first. Maybe I should not, this is the thing. But then my mentor, like, really, he put in so much effort. He made me sit and realize, ki, why did you even start this preparation in the first place? So Then I got back, and then IIM Bangalore happened. So I'm really, really thankful to him. That's how, like,
Mentorship really comes handy, man. Mentorship at the end of the day.
that,
And
that thing I really want to
that
have.
sir, his name is Shravan sir, who you were talking about.
Correct.
Acha, acha, acha. He must be beaming with pride when he'll be watching this podcast. Oh, one of his mentees is mentioning her. And building upon that as well. So when I talk of your interview experiences across all the B schools, so how did it all go about? Were you asked about technicalities from engineering, or was something else on the table as well?
So obviously, because I was a fresher, like certain part of my interview always was around my engineering background and how I used to do it, like how I'm doing at it. So it was a basic question. They used to ask me like, what is your strong area in this sector? So I used to tell them I like these subjects and I think I'm good at it. They used to ask me questions and they were all, practical questions like why do you think this bulb is this way? Why do you think there's 11 kV volts like tension wire only?
Why
Some
is the
of
filament made of tungsten? All of that.
all of that stuff. And I used to answer. They were like basics of electrical engineering, not really technical. And then like most of my interviews used to run around my father's business. I used to tell them ki this is where I got it from. This is why I thought of even joining an MBA. So they used to run around his business model and what I want to do in future. And most of the persons used to, ask me like, you've spent 4 years of your life learning something and now you're moving, like switching careers.
Hmm.
But then I knew I loved both of them. I told them like I like my electrical background and I love making business. So years down the line, I see myself doing an intersection out of it. EV is already trending and
The
yeah,
concept of ikigai, right? Finding that confluence among all
yes.
the domains. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
And
about choosing your college. Yeah, you were saying.
yeah, that's what I used to say. I don't mind like spending 4 years because I loved it and I see myself doing it once again.
And probably that can also be your core for eternity. That your technical background is very sound, and you can build upon that. And talking of your choice of college as well. So why I am Bangalore of all the colleges that you were shortlisted at?
So honestly, this might come as a shocker because a lot of people told me. I actually was considering to join I am Kozhikode.
Uh huh.
I converted I am Kozhikode, Lucknow, Bangalore, and So I was considering joining I am Kozhikode for no solid reason. Like I just liked the campus and I wanted
Campus.
to go. I wanted a beach.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, then like I was thinking of this and then I used to talk with my mentors and all. I'm thinking of this and everybody used to tell me, why not I am Bangalore?
Mm.
Actually, I wanted to go. I am ABC. I wanted to try I am ABC only when I was preparing and all. But I got I am Bangalore Cup Business Analytics, and
Acha.
I was not really sure if I liked that domain before joining. So I had to think a lot. If it was I am Koikod, it's a flagship PGP program,
Mm.
so I had no doubts about it. It's a business program and all. So I had to go through a lot. Like I used to, go to IIM Bangalore website, download the curriculum, understand what each subject means, talk to the seniors, who are currently
Already
studying and
already.
was everybody. After talking to so many people, I understood that yeah, it's not a core analytical, technical MBA. It's a business administration in the end. So a specialization will obviously help me. And P is obviously a better brand. So I gave a shot. I am and I don't regret it. Obviously.
And PGPBA also happens to be a very nascent program. It has been initiated. How many years has it been since it has been initiated?
I think it's in 2020 or 2019. I don't
Oh,
exactly
just
remember, but
5. So you were the third batch, if I'm not wrong, third or fourth batch.
fourth batch, yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. So that must have taken a lot of guts on your part to relinquish other
Yes,
colleges.
yes. That's
That's a
what I
very risky
meant.
decision. And I was having a word with one of the freshers the other day as well. Even that guy was relinquishing IML, IMC to get into your PGPBA at IMB. Turns out that the brand is going on to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Like this is a real thing. I have seen people who like converted I am Calcutta, but then rejected it and came to I am Bangalore PGPBA. After looking at them, I was like, Takes guts, man. Really.
Even it took guts for yourself as well. So, Ujwala, you were saying that the PGPBA course is not purely technical, but it also has a lot of differences when you compare it with the core MBA. So, what are the subjects like?
So in PGPBA, you have certain criteria that you have to do this number of core subjects. Core subjects include business analytics domain ka subjects. They have big names like the artificial
Econometrics.
intelligence, artificial intelligence, deep learning, big data analytics. The subject names used to be daunting kind of, but when we get into the subject and start actually learning it, everything is learned in a business perspective, in a managerial perspective. Like if there is a huge data, you'll at least have an idea ki what you can do with it. If somebody who is really like technical analyst does some analysis and give it to you, how can you draw business insights? So the courses used to, revolve around this more than the actual, coding part. We also had, bit of coding also, like Python R, like natural language processing, so that we understand what actually happens. You don't have to, go on and if you really like it, you can, go ahead with that career also. But it was not really hard for me to understand.
You yourself were an engineer.
Yes.
So, also, you mentioned that most of the data related course were related to insights. So, whether teaching you Power BI, Tableau, etc.
Yes, there are electives like there are so there's a concept of field electives and core electives. Core electives you have to do it no matter what. There is a requirement from uh, your end, and there is something called field elective. Field electives you have to take a field elective of your choice in the business analytics domain. So I took Power BI like data visualization techniques and sports analytics and some of the courses that really I found interesting. Yeah.
And do you think a typical liberal arts kid, or probably somebody who's pursuing a literature and trying to pursue an MBA from IIMB, will he have a very tough time when he's trying to understand AI, ML, all of that in the PGPBA program? No,
I actually had a batchmate who was a literature grad, so he did pretty good.
he did pretty well. So, most of the courses are not mathematically inclined. That's what you're trying to say.
No, not as not really technical
Not
as we
as
say.
rigorous as BTech.
Yeah.
That's what you want to say. Whoa. And further building upon the fact that the differences between PGP, BA, and PGP. So, are the placements unified for both the courses as well?
Even the classes are unified. This is a common question I hear a lot. Do we have different classes, different timings, and all? No, all your core electives or your field electives are also offered to PGP, EPGP, and every other program at campus. So you'll have a mix of people like a normal PGP class does. And even your first year, when it's all same subjects and same classes, you're sitting with PGP candidates only. So every class, let's say there are 70 odd people in a class, 10 to 12 people are from PGPBA. So you'll be with PGP and you have no difference from them if there is a difference, you'll have, a more better competency in analytics domain. That's it. There is no
So, you
difference.
guys are mixed up together in most of the sections. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, in all the compulsory credit sessions, everybody is like mixed up, and even in the electives, because it's offered to everybody else also chooses it.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. And about the placements again, so is there any mandatory imposition that PGPBA students need to apply for data analyst roles exclusively?
No,
Nothing of that sort. So they're eligible for all the roles.
you are eligible for all the roles, but except a very few roles. I think it will change in coming. That's what we are talking. No, it's a new program, and not many companies are
Even
well
know about
known the fact that these are not technical courses. So very few companies might not be open for PGPBA, but every other company, like around 90-95% companies are open and you can apply. And most of my batchmates got into different domains. So
you're into a diverse range of domains. And what is the batch size of PGPBA?
it was around 45 to 47 when I was a student, but now for my juniors it's around 75.
But 45, 47 is an incredible number. The
Yep.
reverse osmosis, the peer-to-peer learning, everything will fall into place. Wow. And about the average work experience of the entire batch of PGPBA?
It's like it's online. I think it's around 24, 25 months. It's in line with the PGP batch. There
2 years.
is uh, two
So
years.
did you have a tough time trying to sort of fit into that environment where most of the people were having a lot of work ex?
Uh, Actually, no.
Huh?
I like it depends on your, how you're approaching things. I never wanted to, fit in somewhere. So they have work ethic, so I have to fit in. I have to act like I know things. No, I used to tell them. So I have experience in this domain. I can do this. I know this. I know designing. I used to do very good PPT. So I can do that pretty good. I can like do analysis part, which is taught in the class. I don't have a prior experience of analyzing things already, so I can do whatever it's taught in the class, and I can learn if you tell me. So I used to be clear about what I know and what I don't. So I never had any, difficulty in being a part of something because there are people like there were, good amount of freshers even in BA, even in the whole PGP. So there nobody will treat you like you don't know things there if it's not difficult.
That's a pretty strong statement, though, when you say that I was not trying to fit in. That's a
Yeah,
very bold statement.
like I don't think you have to. Like it's a fact that you're fresher and you made it till here. So there is a reason why you're here.
That's an accomplishment in itself. Bringing it to IMB.
It's not like you have work X and you made it to IMB, you're lesser than that. No, it's just people need diversity in their management class. So there needs to be people with higher work X, lower work X, no work X. You need to have different views, right? So there is a reason why you're here. So you don't have to fit in with people with work X.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We'll be talking about the fitting in part later on as well with what do you call with respect to the LinkedIn post that you rolled out. That was really fascinating. And before that, talking of your summer internship experience. So when you were sitting for most of the companies, were you having that requisite clarity that product management is the forte that I really want to enter?
No, no. Actually, given my profile, like I had 10, 9, 9 things on my profile.
Consulting all the way.
I was like, I had my bets laid on consulting and I had a couple of hot lists too. So they like, and if you're a fresher, it comes with its own pros and cons. So
Exactly.
consulting they look for people who have relevant experience more. Like if they have a certain industry ka
More
project, they
experience.
look
Yep,
for
yep.
people who are relevant with that. So things didn't go well, and then I had to go for other companies. So when I like PhonePe was the next company after consult shortlist I had, and I had a 1.5 hour long interview almost. And like I said, the startup thing, the social media management and my dad's business and things I tried during COVID, those were all in my CV. I kept them in my CV. So my PhonePe interview revolved around hypothetical scenarios and what will you do in this case, like how will you tackle this, my problem solving skills. I really didn't know I was good at them. That interview made me realize things ki, okay, this can be my forte.
Yeah.
When I got the chance and I jumped on and I took it, and I'm glad I took it.
So one sec, PhonePe is evolving as a very monolithic brand, is it? You mentioned that right after consulting firm that popped up with its offer. PhonePe is really coming up on the radar, is it?
Yes, yes. PhonePe is one of the, people,
Legacy recruiters.
yeah, not really legacy recruiters, but they're one of the, happening recruiters, prod roles and sales and marketing roles.
For burning a lot of cash these days. And also about a typical broadband interview though. So you being from a BTech background, so are the questions? Yeah, sure, sure, sure. You can take a break. This is absolutely fine. So when you were mentioning about the fact that you happen to be from a BTech background, so does the interview revolve exclusively around the technical aspects as well? You mentioned that they discussed about your internships, etc. But what about the technical aspects?
Oh, the SIP interview you're talking about.
Exactly.
No, they don't usually touch much upon your graduation technical aspects at all.
What about the technical aspects of PM? Like, Anything with regard to product designing, anything of that sort?
Product designing, though they'll touch not on technicals, but they give you practical scenarios. In
Achha,
my in
achha.
my case, they asked
Strictly
me,
orders, what are the minimum number of orders, case studies, puzzles,
yeah, case case yeah,
guesstimates.
case prep. Guesstimates, though, like it depends on company. Some companies ask and some companies don't.
Achha, achha.
If you're good with your case prep, like for consult case prep or product case prep, you are good to go in any interview.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. And another thing, so if again that same question, if somebody from liberal arts is trying to get into Prodman, can he get into Prodman without any technical know-how?
I I don't really know well, but you can get into, like, it all depends on the number of shortlists you have in the domain, okay? So in SIP, it might be a little difficult, but in the final placements, when you have, almost 1.5 year of time in MBA, you can try different things like case comms, clubs, product seminars, product live, like internships, etc. So when you have things related to that domain on your CV, it is always possible.
Upskilling will be taken care of. That's what you're trying to imply. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. And so after you got into PhonePe, of course, it was a lot of celebration that you got into a happening firm that's known for its placements. How was your summer internship experience like as a prod man?
So actually, it was very, I learned a lot, I would say. And I didn't think that I'd get that much ownership, or, I was given something. And I did a couple of internship before I am Bangalore also, right? In that internship, it was, everyday task thing. So you have to do this. I'm expecting this from you. My mentor or my manager used to tell me things and I used to do them. At PhonePe, they used to give me tasks. That's it. They used to ask me how you will do it. And given it's a product management thing, my task was to, my deliverable, one of the deliverables was to product requirement document. I have to give an end-to-end product requirement
PRD.
document by the end of my internship. So PRD involved a lot of discussions with all the teams involved in the product, like the process that will happen on the product, and tech team, developers, and my product manager, the senior product manager. So all these discussions, and this discussion used to happen with the heads of those businesses, right? So I have to talk with them, and I used to gain a lot of experience and learnings from the way they look at things. So that really gave me exposure to great leadership, I would say. I did not think I would, I they gave me opportunity to sit in a stakeholder meetings also. So that was really great. And most importantly, my manager and the company itself, they have a flat hierarchy in the company, and the director, the chief business officer, used to sit just opposite to me, and I can go say hi to her anyway anytime. Like that culture, really, I really like the culture at PhonePe. Even now I sit beside them, so you can go grab a coffee. I talk with people who have been in PhonePe for, like, since the beginning of PhonePe. Just random conversations. I don't think that happens often in big organization or big MNC, that people don't even get to see the heads.
So startups are really not doing a lot of micromanagement. That's what you're trying to say. So their
They give
culture
you
is
a
really
lot of
taken.
ownership, and they give you a lot of responsibility too. With ownership comes responsibility. So if something goes wrong, you're responsible.
Of course, nothing went wrong with your SIP. Apart from that, yeah, you were saying something.
Not really nothing. I had to, convince the developers side a lot to, like, squeeze in their schedules and all. So in the end, it worked out. So
Eventually, it did. And anything specific that really worked out for yourself that helped you convert that SIP into a PPO?
yeah, this this very thing. So first thing was, I was really proactive during my internship, and I used to, like I said, anybody who's doing an internship or going to do an internship, you have to be proactive and you have to meet your manager, like show them your face. That's it. Every day, go say hi, how are you doing, just show that you're here to do work. And I used to plan things ahead, always. Even during my internship, once I got my deliverables, I told my buddy or my manager ki this is the approach I'll be taking. If you have anything to say or if you have anything to add, please feel free, like tell me, give me the feedback. I used to take feedback and I used to show them, like I took your feedback, so I incorporated this very thing in my plan. That communication part really helped me because this is a new thing. The product management stint is a new thing for me, and I was learning, like while learning I needed a very critical feedback. So every weekend pay, like Friday, I used to go to my buddy and I used to tell her ki this is what I did this week. If I'm doing going slow or if I'm going fast, please tell me where I can improve, and next week I used to implement those. And after implementing, I used to tell them, like I implemented them. So no, not many people have time. My manager and my buddy are very busy. They don't have time to look into, or like who am I meeting, how am I talking, like what things am I getting on board. So it's my responsibility to let them know. And it's anybody who is doing work, like you have to tell your manager that you did this thing. No way he will miracle, like he don't know things, right, what's going on your mind and all. So
So getting seen and having a very fair channel of communication. These are the couple of takeaways that you need to keep in mind when you're pursuing your SI.
and it's okay, like my deliverable was to finalize the requirements, and I couldn't do it, but it did not stop me from getting a PPO because they knew what was happening. If I was silent all like 2 months, and in the end I go tell them ki there was a problem in the fourth week. This team could, like I couldn't onboard this team with this requirement, so that passed on, and I did not do this. I told them in the fourth week itself there was a problem. I think you have to intervene. They helped me. They came in. They were in the meeting and they helped me, but it did not happen due to external factors. So now they know why it did not happen. So that really, is not attributed to my performance. So that helped. They should.
Active coordination is pretty instrumental in sort of setting that gap aside. Yes,
Yes.
both the parties know and have access to. So after getting placed, after getting the news that yeah, you're going to be at PhonePe for a while now, how was your second year of the MBA like? Partying around, having fun, or were you trying to upskill yourself as well?
So my offer did not come like after internship immediately. So I had like three-fourth of term, like term four. In the end, I got the PPO offer. Before that, I was very, I have to get this term right, and I have to do case comms, I have to do this and that. I tried a lot of things. And then once I got my pre-placement offer, I was like, okay, slow
Let's
down.
take a break here. I get it. I get it. And yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, that's it. Like, and I knew like I wanted to try this thing. I want to get into phone pay. So if it was something like, no, I want to change my final placement thing, I would have worked really hard, but that was
Acha,
not.
is there a provision for people who land SIPs out of the companies that they were pursuing their internship at? Is there a provision for them to sort of sit for other companies as well on the campus for final placements?
Not all companies. If you're accepting your pre-placement offer, there is something called dream option.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah. Above a certain threshold, if they're offering more than certain LPA. Acha. So you're not allowed to sit for those companies. That's what you're trying to say.
those companies as in,
As in the dream companies.
no, I can dream. Like that option is called dream.
Yep. I mean, I'm not getting this. So you landed a PPO, but you can sit for a dream company. You can't sit for a dream company.
So this dream company is not, higher package company or anything.
Uh huh.
If you're sitting for another company, any company, you're sitting right. That
Yeah.
option is called dream. You're dreaming for another company.
Okay. And then
So like in any MBA college, companies usually come in clusters, like first cluster,
yeah.
second cluster, and all. If you have an offer in cluster one, you're not eligible to sit in other companies in the same cluster. You can try for cluster two and cluster three, or you got an offer in three, you can sit for one and two, like that.
That clears it up. That clears it up. And so after you sort of in your what do you call fourth term, you got this news that you're getting into phone pay. After that, you took a break and you were sort of allowing the things to fall into place. Is there any provision of you going out there and pursuing an international exchange program for PGPBA kids?
Yeah, it's like a normal PGP thing, just with an analytics touch. That's it. You have everything else same. You
Acha.
have the same like colleges. It's just that you have to complete a, field number of field electives by the time you complete your degree.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the case with PGP students. Like they don't have a certain criteria that you have to complete this number of field electives in this domain. But PGPBA, we have to do business analytics based field electives or something like that. So if you're going for an exchange, you have to take care that the courses you will be taking in exchange will be considered as a field elective here or not. That's
Acha. Acha. That's pretty much it. And about the process of shortlisting, what are you supposed to do? You're shortlisted on the basis of your grades.
CGPA. Yeah, for exchange, it's based on CGPA. So it will be a normal like course bidding. You have to bid colleges, and the top college gets the highest CGPA person.
Acha, acha. Depending on your CGP, you can bid for all the listing colleges that are a part of the framework. That is
Yes.
how it works. And about the expenditure, the college takes care of certain expenditure, or you're supposed to self-fund it.
No, only tuition fees, I think, college, because you pay your tuition fees here, that is compensated with that college, and every other thing like your tickets, your stay, food, you have to pay.
That'll be a pretty expensive affair. Yeah. One of your friends, Ria Mehta, happened to have pursued her international exchange, right? I
Yep,
saw
yep,
one
yep,
of her posts on LinkedIn. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yep,
So,
yep.
apart from that, so we have a fair understanding of how SIPs and final placements work with regard to PGPBA. If there's one core aspect of the entire program is the fact that does it really, what do you call, make you industrially relevant? You see, most of the PGP programs don't equip you with practical skills, hands-on experience with regard to programming softwares, etc. So, is it really industrially relevant PGPBA?
It depends on your interest again. So when like a certain number of subjects you have to do no matter what, and remaining electives, if you're really interested in the domain, you can pick electives in the domain only, even the free electives. So that way you'll have more experience, and because you do projects and all,
Acha.
you can become industry relevant.
It's on you. It's more discretionary than institutional.
Yes, yes.
That sets the path, and now moving towards the more interesting part of the podcast, getting down to that reference of your post that really sort of raised my eyebrows. That, yeah, this is the person that I really want to talk to. The 5 pointers that you explicitly mentioned, which were very, what do you call, strong mouth, by the way, that you shouldn't be caring about people, you should care about yourself. So let's try addressing most of the misunderstood aspects of an MBA program. You see, people carry this weight of trying to be socially relevant or trying to fit in. Like you already mentioned, you should never try to fit in. So, how does a person go about trying to manage his emotions first and foremost?
First thing, MBA, like at least in IIMs, you're with people 24/7. You, like most probably will not have your personal space to be yourself. Like high chances you're talking to someone, you're expecting something out of the person, or vice versa. He's expecting or she is expecting something out of you. It's always, outcome driven conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's like that. There is no, certain people are like this, certain people are, even I was that person at one point. So when everything is going this way, I think it's important you have your priorities set. Okay, this kind of bonds I have to make for this thing. I know people who I can be myself, like nothing, no motives, no expectations, just plain simple conversations about life, what is happening, what are you doing. That really gives you that mental relief. So you're in completely every day you're in some kind of pressure. There's a deadline, there is a project, there is a group project, and somebody is not working. You have to do that part. Something is going on in your life every day. So it's really important that you prioritize yourself, and then work whatever is in your hands. Like you don't have to go overboard and overdo things. Like if somebody is not, they are not willing to work, you don't have to take that thing up and work. If like If you can, you just tell them, ki, you know, this is not my thing. You have to do it.
Mm.
It's their grades also. That's what I was talking about. No.
Exactly, exactly. The fifth pointer on that post.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having
Like,
that accountability with most of the people. That's what you're trying to say.
you're not responsible for anybody else except you. That's it.
And establishing a distinction in all of your personal connections. That these are the people that I want to be intimate with. These are the people that I want to be just what do you call
Yes.
acquaintances with. And that's
Yes.
again a very strong statement that everybody is your acquaintance, nobody is your friend.
Nobody. Like really nobody. Like I won't say like 0%. There will be true connections. You don't have to, like sit and make a plan and do the okay, I want this person to be my connection. It will happen. It is going to happen. Like if there is some connection out there for you, it will find its way. Or once you find it, you have to put in efforts to, keep
Sustain
it,
it.
yeah, sustain in your life. So you'll have genuine bonds. I've had many genuine bonds in IIM Bangalore, and I'm very thankful, grateful for all the experiences. And like there's a friend groups concept, like because people are 24/7 and they hang out, and there is a mix of these friend groups. Like a lot of disturbances happen, so you don't have to worry about all of them. Just don't take everything to heart. Like I said, everything happening on campus is not relevant past the walls. So it happened, you enjoyed, you leave it there. Don't just bring it to your personal life, or don't let other people's come into your personal space.
Be uninfluenced. That's what you're trying to say. And yep, so that's a pretty comprehensive way of looking at your emotions and managing it. But the very this thing vital aspect of it all is that you need to have a clear picture of where you want to reach. And
Yes.
these are not obstacles, these are people who will help you reach there, probably.
Come again, you was like,
These are not obstacles, but these are people who will help you reach there, probably,
yes,
with
yes.
whatever help they can.
Like everybody wants to help you. First thing, if you go to a person for help, 100% they want to help you. Unless you're coming in their way,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
will help you. So you just know, you should know how to manage that. So what to take in, what not to take in. If there is a convo and something's happening, you should have that filter. Nobody will take care of what how you are going to feel, or how some other person will feel about it. You should have your own filter key. Okay, this is all happened in this conversation. This part I want to take and this part I want to leave. That
And
thing you have to do.
and you were also mentioning about the savior complex, that you don't need to sort of give out a hand to everybody who's in need.
Yeah. And I said that because at one point I stretched myself too thin to help somebody else, and in the end I was thrown under the bus. So
OMG.
that was, I was mentally at a very, like, the lowest point. So I don't want anybody else to be in that space.
So
So,
people need to control their compassion as well on a very great level.
yeah,
You know, MBA happens to be one of those very few courses which has nothing to do with morality, which has nothing to do with emotional intelligence, but it ends up making people very sensible on how to deal with people.
no, MBA does teach you a lot of emotional intelligence.
Is it?
Yeah, like it is not, like it is not taught in classes and all,
Exactly.
but everything happening on campus will teach you something or other about other people, like how, like where people come from. When somebody makes a statement after MBA, you'll think, okay, why is he even making this statement instead of, like getting triggered by it first.
Then you understand why diversity is such a pursued thing. That's a way of looking at things.
Yeah,
And so,
it
yeah, yeah,
changes
yeah.
a lot. Like it changes your perspective a lot. The way you look at things will change, like completely change.
From being affected to being a this thing witness to whatever is happening. Yeah, that's the core principle of Buddhism as well, if you are aware by any chance. And and apart from that, so having a control over your emotions, having a long-term picture, and sort of, if I had to ask you about the clubs and committees though at IIM Bangalore, so is there any most sought after club and committee that everybody wants to be a part of?
But it's not most sought after or something like that. But most of the people, want to get into consulting or product management.
Achha.
So there is a consulting club icon and there is a product management called Sigma. So they usually get more applications. And like there is no one club that is, popular or everybody wants to go there. Everybody here has their own priorities. So fin clubs have more fin applicants, and there are clubs like dance clubs, committee clubs, like event clubs. So everybody has their own
That's
priorities.
that's cool. That's cool. And about the classes as well, I happen to have a podcast with one of your seniors called Jay Patel. He was telling this explicitly that most of the classes are limited to 4 days a week. Is it true?
Yeah.
Until
Uh,
Thursday, Monday to Thursday. That's it.
Thankfully, we like until our batch it was like that, but now administration is changing schedules. Our juniors had classes ranging from Monday to Saturday also,
Saturday. Wow. So
but then it's not all day. It's not like 9 to 5 you have to sit.
4 hours, 6 hours.
Uh, there is at most three classes per day.
So one class is of 2 hours,
One class of 1.5 hour.
1.5 hour. That's even better. That's even
Yeah.
better. And when
But
you talk of yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
for first year only. Second year pay you will have electives, and I've seen people choosing electives from right from morning 8 to evening 5:30 or 7:30, so that their classes will be completed in just 2 days. All the 5 days they'll have free, and 2 days they'll like grind
It's
themselves.
more like a distance program.
Yeah,
Wow, but IMB really has a relaxation when it comes to academics, though.
yes, it does.
And talking of the 1.5 hours of lecture, so is there anything special that the professor equips you with, apart from the Harvard case studies? Anything else?
So, like, the most important thing is a case study. So, you will be told the case study that will be
Yes,
discussed
yes.
yesterday itself. You'll have time to prepare and like prepare your take on it. And then once you come into the class, the first half an hour or so, teacher, like the professor, will not tell you anything about the case. There is a whole thing called class participation. So everybody puts in their points and he collects it on the board or somewhere. And somehow, in some strategy classes, I used to really like this thingy. So professor used to ask everybody, Ki, what's your take and what happened in this segment of the case and this segment of the case to random people in the class, and he used to put it on the whiteboard in such a way that by the time the discussion ends, the answer is on the whiteboard, like end
Oh,
to end case analysis on the whiteboard.
oh.
So that is like one of the classes, like that was the moment, like, okay, this is what I'm here for.
Connecting all the dots as comprehensively as possible.
Yes.
Wow, wow. So, a couple of questions to end the conversation with Ujwala. If somebody doesn't get into an IIM, doesn't get into a reputed college, is there any way he can get to have a similar career trajectory like you guys?
Similar college, as in I've seen people, like even now I have, like my peers are from IFT, SIBM Pune, MDI, NMIMS, all these colleges. People are here with me. They're working with they're at the same level with same CPC, same packages. So yeah, obviously they can.
I
But
mean, apart
in
from typical, yeah, Tier 1 MBAs, if somebody's from Tier 2, then is there any way you can get into the same space?
if you're in Tier 2 MBA college, I think your network matters a lot. So the kind of people you have in your network, because in the end, it's about the opportunities you get, right? You'll have to prove yourself like competent or anything. First, you should have an opportunity at your hand. To get those, you need good network. If you're Tier 2 college, make like participate in case forms, make friends from other colleges, Tier 1 colleges, and in the end you'll learn the same business concepts. The
Makes
only
sense.
thing, at least in my perspective, changes is the way
Network.
they interact with people and the way these guys interact with people, and the kind of circles they are in. If you are, like if you want the same career trajectory, or if you want, be better than the Taiwan college students, all you have to do is better your network.
Leveraging of your network is very instrumental in your career growth. That's a strong way of putting it across. So, Ujwala, coming towards the end of the podcast, I'm not sure if I'll be asked to pay for this, given the fact that you're pretty active on TopMate. You're one staunch proponent of the fact that TopMate is a legitimate service. You're one of those few people who's coming out against all the people. TopMate is legitimate.
So, it goes both sides. It is legitimate, but taking advantage of it is not.
Hmm.
So it's how you use it rather than like for what it's made for. So
It's
in the
more
end,
on the morality of the service provider, right? More on your end. Yeah.
it's more on the like provider's end because they gave you so much autonomy. Like I saw there is no, you can't do push up
Restriction.
services, no restrictions on the kind of, service or the price you keep it. So then it's on you, like how you want to put yourself out on TopMate or any other platform like that.
How much is TopMate reserve though out of whatever 1 rupee that you generate as revenue out of it? How much does it, what do you call, reserve out of it?
I'm really new to TopMate.
Acha.
I just had my first call today, so I need to figure out.
Before the call came the post defending it as well. That's nice.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not defending the platform. I'm defending the idea of,
Practice of.
bridging that gap. If it's TopMate or if it's some other thing tomorrow, that doesn't really, bother me because I like the idea of, having access to somebody one on one, like we are doing. So we can do it free for like this. James. I can put a Skype link and people can join. I can do that also, and I'm willing to do that. So in the end, it depends on the individual, not on the platform.
Platform is. Acha, it's more about the idea and the concept more than the platform.
Yeah.
So, Ujwala, if we had to end this podcast on the note that you'll have to give one advice to all the management aspirants out there who are trying to carve a career path or trying to get that clarity that they're supposed to pursue a career in a certain forte, what would your advice look like?
My first advice would be reassess, reevaluate, like if you're going right. Like most of the times, people just want, like switch their careers, and MBA is, it's all glamorous,
It's a
like
quick
on the
escape.
outside. Yeah, it's a good escape, like you said. So don't fall for it. You should like it. Like if you don't like it, even if it's paying you crores or lakhs, it will not give you mental peace. So I would always say try it first before, committing to something like a 2 year long MBA after quitting your job. So always try it, understand if you're liking it, if you're liking to learn it more. So it like after 2 years, it's not like you have to stop and it's done and you will like peacefully earn up like from now. You have to keep learning. You have to evolve according to the sector or domain you are with. So always reassess. And if you do get in, like if you are a new joinee to any of the IIMs or any of the B schools, make the most out of these 2 years. You will not have this time back. Like I'll be blunt about this. After these 2 years, most of you will not go for any other higher studies or will not commit to something this long, which will, that's what I was talking about. Now you will be with people 24/7. This kind of experience is once in a lifetime thing. So make the most out of it. Enjoy
So,
the. That's it.
summarizing it up, reassess your entire career and have relevant practical experience before, because what do you call, committing to a course, and live your this thing course as this thing fondly as possible.
Yes, yes.
That is a very comprehensive way of looking at things. And with that, we come towards the end. Thank you so much, Ujwala, for agreeing to do this on a very, what do you call, hot, brisky afternoon of Saturday. And this was really nice getting to talk to you.
Yeah. It was nice talking to you too. This is my first podcast. I think I did not say it abhi tak. So this is my first podcast, and I did not think I'll be this comfortable sitting here talking to somebody like while it's recording. So thank you for making me feel comfortable first, and then
It was you more than me.
thank you. That was kind.